Welcome to Scary Stories Avenue, where horror comes to life. If you enjoy getting spooked, make sure to give that thumbs up below. And for more chilling tales, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Let's get started. In our first story, Emily, a young woman in her mid-20s, had always been fascinated by the supernatural. She had heard tales of sleep paralysis, but had never experienced it herself. One fateful night, as she lay in bed, Emily found herself unable to move. Panic surged through her body as she realized she was trapped in the grip of sleep paralysis. To her horror, a dark figure materialized at the foot of her bed. It stood tall and menacing, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Emily's heart pounded in her chest as the figure slowly approached her. She tried to scream, but her voice was silenced by the paralysis. The malevolent shadow loomed over her, its presence suffocating. Emily could feel its icy breath on her face as it whispered incomprehensible words into her ear. The terror was unbearable, and she prayed for release from this nightmare. Just as suddenly as it had appeared, the shadow vanished and Emily regained control of her body. She sat up, drenched in sweat, and gasped for air. The experience had left an indelible mark on her psyche, forever haunting her dreams. The second story takes place in a small town nestled deep in the countryside. A man named David lived alone in an old, creaky house. David had always been a skeptic when it came to the supernatural, dismissing stories of ghosts and demons as mere superstition. Little did he know that his skepticism would soon be shattered. One moonlit night, David awoke to find himself paralyzed, his body frozen in place. Panic surged through his veins as he realized he was trapped in the clutches of sleep paralysis. His eyes darted around the room, searching for any sign of danger. Suddenly, a dark figure emerged from the shadows, its eyes glowing with an unholy fire. David's heart raced as the figure drew closer, its presence exuding malevolence. It whispered sinister words into his ear, promising eternal torment and suffering. As the figure loomed over him, David felt an overwhelming sense of dread. He tried to scream, but his voice was silenced by the paralysis. The demonic visitor seemed to feed off his fear, relishing in his helplessness. Just as David thought he couldn't bear it any longer, the figure vanished, and he regained control of his body. He sat up, trembling, and surveyed his surroundings. The encounter had shaken him to his core, forever altering his perception of the supernatural. The third story takes place in a quiet suburban neighborhood. A family moved into a charming old house with a dark history. Unbeknownst to them, the house was plagued by a malevolent presence that preyed on unsuspecting victims during their moments of vulnerability. One night, as the family slept soundly, they were abruptly awakened by a blood-curdling scream. The mother, Sarah, found herself paralyzed, unable to move or speak. Panic washed over her as she realized she was experiencing sleep paralysis. As Sarah lay there, helpless, she saw a figure materialize at the foot of her bed. It was a woman, her face twisted in agony. The ghostly apparition floated toward Sarah, its eyes filled with sorrow and despair. The room grew cold, and Sarah could feel an oppressive weight pressing down on her chest. The ghostly woman reached out, her spectral hand inches away from Sarah's face. Sarah closed her eyes, bracing herself for the inevitable. But just as the woman was about to make contact, she vanished into thin air. Sarah regained control of her body and sat up, gasping for air. The encounter had left her shaken and terrified. She knew that the haunted house held dark secrets, and she vowed to uncover the truth. Sleep paralysis is a haunting phenomenon that can leave individuals feeling terrified and helpless. The stories shared in this article serve as a chilling reminder of the horrors that can unfold during this state of temporary paralysis. Whether it be encountering malevolent shadows, demonic visitors, or haunted houses, sleep paralysis is a truly bone-chilling experience. Remember to take care of your sleep health and be prepared for the possibility of encountering the unknown in the realm of dreams. Oh,